And welcome to another rendition of No Filter Sports. I'm your host, Brian 3SL Lyles. If you listen to any other programs, I already mentioned what the 3SL means. But with me today is the good Trump, the Trump that is going to stick around for us, who supports sports.
Yes.
Trump, how you doing?
What's going on?
So since you didn't lose the election, at least you get to stick around and don't have to go ape shit over complaining about various things. But there are other things to complain about, especially in the sports world.
Can I mention something on that real quick?
But
Uh, to Donald Trump, man, just go. Just like you know me, I'm kind of down the middle. I wasn't beating all up on Trump like y'all, but I wasn't all up his behind like other people. But now, bro, just take your L.
yeah,
Come back
that
in
thing,
2024 if you want to do that. But this one is a lost cause, bro. This one is over.
here's the funny thing: he was complaining. He even complained while at the Army Navy game when that was sad. It's like, dude, this ain't about you. This is your final, hopefully your final Army Navy game where you can show up, and it's just like, ugh,
Well, I'll
just
tell you the rumor I heard. The rumor I heard is that he is going to have a rally and announce his campaign for 2024 on Inauguration Day.
we'll
That's the
see how
rumor
many.
I heard. So we're going to see.
Let's see how many people show up for that one. But that's a whole other show, no whole other topic. But anyway,
Yeah, anyway.
I do have something to complain about. I want to start off with this. Um, I know you're not a full fan of college football and everything. And I hopefully maybe the next show I will bring in Chip again because he will love trashing this team. I have a problem with Ohio State. I really do, and I really have a problem with this whole system of the BCS and the bowl playout, the playoffs, and everything. I thought they would have gotten it when they introduced the playoff system. I thought they would get it, but this season is ridiculous. And I felt like, look, I already mentioned the fact in an early episode is how can you have a team ranked and you haven't played at all? I mean, Ohio State was ranked third. This is when it was like around October. They're ranked third, and they haven't even played a game yet. I don't know how you can be ranked and not play. And now this thing where they had to cancel the Michigan their annual game against Michigan, and they were required to play at least 6 games to be qualified for postseason stuff. Indiana was able to play their 6. Northwestern was able to play their 6. Ohio State didn't. But somehow Ohio State gets a pass. And everyone is going ape crazy, which I believe is valid because it's like, well, wait a minute. Why is Ohio State getting this pass here? It doesn't make sense. So based off due to the fact of COVID and all that stuff, because they had not only Michigan, but also the Maryland game had to be canceled. So they really can't do much. So they're able to get a pass. They get to go to their Big Ten title game. They may be able, if they win that, they'll probably get to go to the playoff again. And I feel like, look, can we just throw this season out? Don't have a playoff. Just have the normal bowl games if you're able to have bowl games. I don't want a national champion. There's no national championships here. I just feel like this is ridiculous. So I just and then the other main thing is I just feel like why are we catering to these big top schools every fucking year? I just don't get it. And I know everyone will say it's about money. I understand that part, but really it's like you're not really giving anyone else a chance to do what they need, to be even a consideration for a national championship. I just feel like it's you got I've looked at ever since they did the playoff things, 7 teams have been here multiple times. Ohio State and Alabama have been here the most. It's just ridiculous.
These type of issues are why I don't really get into college football. These are the reasons why I don't get into college football. It's run by money. Decisions are made based off money. Why do you think Ohio State is 6-0 and is got invited to their conference championship game? An exception was made for them because I think they had a rule where you had to play 8 or was it 10?
It was supposed to be 6.
And Ohio, and they didn't. How many conference games they
They
played?
didn't, and they really didn't make technically it was supposed to be 7. Officially, it was supposed to be technically 7, but they said they gave them the 6.
So they made an exception because if this was another small team from somewhere, do you think they would have made that exception? No,
Nope.
because it's based off money. So this is why I don't get into college football. When I do watch college football, I'm watching a game where there's a player involved who's been talked about as a top draft pick. I just want to see what they do. That's it. So this stuff really doesn't bother me, but I will say I do like the college. I like the playoff format. But I think the playoff format needs to be a little more opened up, a little more random because you're getting the same teams every year. It has to
Mm-hmm.
be more than 4 teams if you want me to get into it. I'm thinking maybe double it, 8.
Actually, this year would have been the great year to have multiple teams in the playoffs. Forget all the other bowl games because already there was supposed to be a bowl game this Saturday that officially got canceled a few days ago. And then there's the new LA Bowl that was supposed to take place at the new stadium in Los Angeles. That wasn't going to happen. That's not happening. So to be honest with you, it's like I don't need these bowl games, but you could if you still want to have a national champion, quote unquote, you could have opened up and have the playoffs and have multiple teams in it, and you could have roughly all of December could have been your playoffs.
That's
That
what
is what everyone's been saying. Just have a playoffs in December. Fuck the Bulls. No
move
one cares.
move the college season back to beginning August. When I say August, the beginning of August. And then December is your playoff month. The playoffs happen in December, and then maybe January, and then December's playoff month, and then either at the end of January, at the end of December, beginning of January is your national championship.
Mm-hmm.
That'll solve everything. I'm talking about that should be how it is after COVID, before COVID period, but it's all about money. And to me, it would be even more money for them if they did it like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there'll be more. I really think like you said, there'll be more money. There's always money in tournaments. I mean, if you think about the college basketball tournament, tons of money is in that. I mean, huge amount. Even I complain about mid majors, but now mid majors are finally stepping up their game the last few years. So really, my complaint about that is getting a little bit reduced. But for college football, it's like, come on, man! It's like I'm seeing the same teams every freaking year. It's like, be honest with you, if you put in a pro aspect, it's like, why do I want to see New England in the playoffs
Yeah.
every year? Why?
Yep.
It is just like it is, and it's like they keep doing the same thing. They're having the same. It's the same offense, and you can't beat this team. I don't get it. But college football is like you keep pushing the priority. I mean, this year it felt like they really couldn't face anybody else. They pretty much faced all the teams within their conference, and I just think it's like, look, just have the conference champions, have them represent. Have at least maybe up to, if you're saying you're going to use the entire month of December, have 8 to 16 teams or conference champions and play it out, and we'll have a national champion, a proper national champion. But no, we rather see. Let's see Alabama again. They're doing great. Oh, Ohio State, yeah, let's put them in again, and all that stuff. And then it's just like, oh, come on. I mean, and everybody, and the sad thing is the pundits will keep defending these teams, saying, well, they're the best team in the world. It's like bullshit because they don't play anybody else.
That's why they have only 4. That's why they're not opening the tournament up, because their worst fear is that a team that gets into the tournament from a lower college beats a big time school and wins the national championship. That's their worst fear. At least
Yeah.
with the 4 teams, they know who care. They don't care which one of the 4 teams because they pick the absolute top of the line teams. But
Mm-hmm.
if they open it up, they're afraid what's going to happen with the tournament in football is like happens in baseball when a Cinderella team, basketball, a Cinderella team makes the Final Four, blah blah blah. Man, they can follow NCAA basketball's step with the tournament, a Final Four tournament. Do you know all the bowl games that they did an 8-man tournament that can make more money too, because now their particular bowl is part of the championship series are rotating
Mm-hmm.
bowl years and stuff. Man,
Mm-hmm.
man, if me and you can come up with this, you know they can. The only thing that's blocking it, money.
Mm-hmm. It's all about money, sadly, sadly. But anyway, I digress from that. But let's get into some more semi-positive thing. And I know again, this is a bit too early for you, but we were, back in the early episodes, we mentioned about teams changing their nicknames and all that stuff, and you went on a little tirade there. So most recently, the Cleveland Indians officially announced that coming this season and going into the next, this season they are dropping Indians, so they'll be known as the Cleveland baseball team right now. And then going into 2022, they will be having a new name. Um, my thoughts on this is like, okay, I'm okay with it. If they bring back the Spiders, a lot of people don't know the Cleveland Spider. There was a team called the Cleveland Spiders with the American Association, and I felt that would be a cool nickname for them because you rarely see any fighters anywhere else except for Richmond. But your take on now Cleveland joining the Washington football team by dropping their Native American nickname into something else.
I told y'all. I told y'all. See, the segment was passed off as a joke, and in a way it was. But I'm telling you, one by one, everything I said in that segment a few months ago is going to come true because the society is going to nitpick at everything that's not wrong. Now, I'm not saying that. Yeah, the Indians. Yeah, that name should be dropped. Redskins definitely should be dropped. Just don't stop naming your team after ethnicities. Okay, and just name it after something. Now, what I do like about Cleveland is they're already saying next year we're gonna have a new name.
Mm,
Football team ain't doing that, which tells
yeah.
me they don't have any intentions of going having a new name. I think they're gonna just be the Washington football team from now. But
Mm,
um, I think here's an idea. Look at that they just made the Negro Leagues part recognized as major league.
right.
How about using some of their nicknames from their teams back in the day? That's a great way to pay respect to them. How about picking up one of those Negro League nickname teams?
Like the Grays and the
Yeah,
Monarchs.
yeah,
There's the elite Giants, but there's already a Giants team. So,
yeah.
but I actually, going into that, I felt that the Negro, Major League Baseball honoring because this year is the 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, again, and thanks to COVID, kind of ruined because Major League Baseball had a good list of things to honor the Negro Leagues throughout the season. So for some games where some of the teams played in the Negro League uniforms, which I think it was cool to see. But it was kind of unfortunate that they had to due to the reducing the schedule, they try to do sort of like, hey, let's quickly honor them because this is their 100th anniversary. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like maybe this was part of their thing all along that they wanted to introduce the Negro Leagues as part of Major League Baseball. So it is kind of great to fully acknowledge. It was one thing to sort of like, hey, we have the Negro Leagues. This is
Mm-hmm.
where Jackie Robinson was. This is where Roy Campanella. This is where Willie Mays started, and then they came over. But now it's officially like, no, these guys, everything, the records, the names, everybody, they're part of Major League Baseball because most of those guys are in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and so it's great to fully acknowledge them. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't know all the Negro League team nicknames, but I think that would be a great honor for some teams who may eventually just pick a Negro League team and
mm.
and pick one of their nicknames and use that. Then how about since it was the Elite Giants, how about the Cleveland Elites? You know what I'm saying?
Well, Cleveland's not all that elite.
Well, you can name,
after that
Cleveland
football
Elite.
game, they're not that elite.
That would be it. You don't even have to put the S on it. Just the Cleveland Elite.
Yeah. So,
You know
but
what
it
I'm
would
saying?
be interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what the Cleveland baseball team what they'll be because they said they're not going to use tribe. They're not going to use that.
No,
So
anything
yeah,
remotely close to like I've soured on Washington Warriors when that was something I was like, they should change it to that. Blah blah blah. I was soured on that now. That's too close to something that's Native American because they were called warriors.
Yeah.
They call
So
themselves warriors. So
you got to think of a good identity. So
yeah,
I know some nicknames. Like I said, I threw out spiders because I felt like that would be cool. Cool. Another nickname they threw out was the Cleveland Rockers, which used to be a WNBA nickname. But it wouldn't hurt to see him come back with that nickname in some form or fashion. So
Cleveland Rocks.
yeah. So represent the Rockville Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
So we'll
Cleveland Rocks. You know?
yeah. So we'll see how it goes. So um, where,
The
where do
Cleveland.
we
Well,
go?
I have another nickname for the Cleveland. Since
What?
since football started there, and you're a baseball team, how original would this be? The Cleveland, the Cleveland, let me see, Cleveland football, uh, something with football in it. You know that for a baseball team, that would be shot. That would be amazing. I'll think about it and give it to y'all next week.
Are you sure you didn't start drinking now?
Of course I did. Yeah, you
It's
know,
kind of early. Oh boy. Well, it is happy hour somewhere.
so is here. Shit.
Yeah. Another issue or concern. Let's say you saw the Cleveland Baltimore game.
Amazing game.
Okay. Here's the thing though. Great game. 3 days later, three members of their receiving corps is on the COVID reserve IR team, and one of them is Marquise Brown. And I'm like, oh god.
Hold on,
And it was like after
Baltimore or Cleveland? What are you talking about?
no Baltimore. Three
After
guys,
this game, after Monday?
after the game, 2 days after the game, three receivers from the Baltimore Ravens caught COVID. And I'm like, are you kidding me? After something like that exciting, coming, the back and forth with Cleveland, and then you figure it's like they're on an up, and then you lose three members of your starting receiving corps. I'm like,
So when is our game? Do we play against Sunday, right?
we play Jacksonville next.
Oh well, we don't need receivers.
Well, here's the cool thing. Now, this is why I'm leading into. This is a good thing and the bad thing. The bad thing is we lost three good, starting receivers. But the good thing is Des Bryant, who was on the COVID list, is now cleared to play. What are your expectation of Des Bryant? Because he did play a few games before he got on the COVID list, but now he likely will be probably starting. What is your anticipation of Des Bryant helping out on the Ravens from here on out?
Well, we going against Jacksonville. This is essentially a bye week. If I were the Ravens, I would sit all the starters this week.
I wouldn't do that.
I would sit all the
Remember
starters.
what the Giants did to the Seahawks? It was the exact same thing.
Jacksonville is not as good as the Giants.
Mm.
So I would sit all my starters this week. If you want to catch COVID, now is the time to do it. Catch it this week, so you can come back next week and you be good because we're playing Jacksonville. I'm not worried about Jacksonville, but no, how I think Dez Bryant is going to impact. I think how old is Dez? 31.
He's still in early 30s. It's not that old.
He has a lot in his tank. I don't know outside of the injuries. See, the one thing that's killed Dez's career, not his talent, this has been his injuries.
Mm-hmm.
He gets injured all the time. It's like bad. This man a black cat follows this man around. You know what I'm saying? That's when it comes to on the field football and stuff. So he has the ability. He just has to stay on the field, and that's the thing. Once he's on the field, he will contribute. He's going to jump. He's going to get passes. What's his name? Lamar Jackson has to do is throw it up. Dez will get it. All he has to do is get it to Dez. Now, if he can do that, then I'm very excited about Dez. Do you know we were going to draft Dez way back when, and the Cowboys jumped over us and got him?
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
You look at the draft board. We were ahead of Dallas. We were going to select Dez, and the Cowboys made a trade, got in front of us, and picked Dez.
Hmm. Damn.
So it's full circle now. He's back where he should have been in the first fucking place.
So, I think that with Des Bryant, I think we do need one main thing is we do need a deep threat. I mean, Marquise Brown has the speed to be a deep threat, but I just think the routes and the play calling is just short dump passes.
Well,
And,
because they don't have confidence in Lamar Jackson throwing the deep ball.
I mean, can you just look back at the first play in the Dolphins game last year? I mean, that was a deep pass.
Why do we
Like, can we get back to that?
Why do we have to go back that far? This is something he should be doing all the time. But when he has done it, he hasn't done it well. That's why they've done the short to intermediate passing game. They don't feel confident he can get the ball down the field accurately because he can get it down the field. He can't. Can he get it down accurately? That's what it is. So one day they're just going to have to say, F it, open up the playbook. This will be the perfect game to do it. Open up the playbook and let Lamar just throw deep and just let him make mistakes. Let him throw deep. And I think and we'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully not too many mistakes because the Ravens still in a playoff hunt. The other thing is not only I feel like this is where I think this is where it would be interesting now because the playoffs are coming shortly, and Pittsburgh has lost the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing: I kind of knew this. If it wasn't for those two pick sixes in the Ravens games, Ravens would have beaten them. And I felt like it's like you can kind of tell there's something wrong with the Steelers because Steelers are all they're doing is being like sort of like having the Patriots offense. There's limited running game. Their running game gets stopped. It really doesn't do that much. But their passing game is pretty much what keeps them going. And my thing is like now it's like everyone's stopping them at the red zone, and it's because really it's like that's been their problem. Unless they luck out on on their receivers being open in some form or fashion. I really think the Steelers throughout this entire time frame they have been good, but benefiting on a weak schedule.
You know what? You go ahead and finish that because I'm going to get a drink. Because when you talk about the Steelers, I need to compose myself. Keep talking about them. I'm going to refill the cup and give you my opinion when I come back over.
I think, listen, with the Steelers, I think their running game has never been the same since various players have left, and then I really think that you really need to. I don't know what it is. You can tell it's like there's something fully wrong. And I don't think, mind you, if I think about the future, it feels like, okay, what will they do without Ben Roethlisberger? And we've seen that already last season. This year, it's kind of like a must be season for them because I don't even think they have a good answer to replace Ben Roethlisberger after this. And mind you, their defense has been very good. I have no problems with their defense. Their defense is top notch. I mean, it's caused problems for, again, as a Raven fan, caused problems for us. It's caused problems for a lot of teams. So that I feel like I give them top notch on. But their offense supposed to be good, but it hasn't of late, and it really is. It kind of showing for the last. Now everyone was saying the last two games. No, let's go back. It has been showing for the last five, and it's like you kind of get the sense of fact is like I really think that Ben is getting old and tired. I don't think that he cannot be that guy to keep throwing every freaking time, and especially the deep routes. I really think the Steelers, if they want to compete for that championship, especially the AFC title, because already right now they dropped down to number 2, and they have to go to Kansas City. If he has the ability to go to Kansas City and beat them, it'll be a tough task. So, what's your thoughts?
Well, let me just say this: the Pittsburgh Steelers, I never believed in them anyway. Not just saying, I'm talking about this year. That old record, something was fishy about it to me. And I'm gonna tell you when I really saw the cracks is that Dallas game.
Mm.
When they played Dallas, I was like, oh, they gonna get beat either this game, the next game, or the next game. It was coming. It
Mm-hmm.
almost came the Ravens game, and the culmination was the Washington game. I knew Washington was going to beat them before the game. I knew it. You know what I'm saying? I just had the feeling. And then Buffalo took it to them. So yeah. Now as much as I hate to say it, this could work out in Pittsburgh's favor because the loss has been good for them. And it's always good to go in the playoffs peaking and not going. So they're lucky the losses are happening now. They can fix it, get it straight, and maybe go on a run. Whereas if they were losing the last 3 games of the season and they were going to the playoffs like this, now they have time to go in the last 3 games, win those, and go in the playoffs like this. Will they beat Kansas City? Hell no. To be honest with you, I don't think they're going to beat Cleveland.
Yeah, everyone I mean, that's why I felt like Cleveland, even with this past Monday night game, I felt like Cleveland. I've always said for the last 2 years now, Cleveland is a threat. I just felt like they finally got the right coach. I felt like Baker Mayfield has finally is getting it. He's been in a groove now. And I mean, they got a good running game. Their defense is improving with every game. I mean, I just felt like that Monday night game was something where you biting your teeth and pray to fact it's like, no, we can't lose to Cleveland. And surprisingly enough, we didn't. And again, it's great for the Ravens to beat Cleveland in Cleveland because seeing all those video shots of the fans just being upset is hilarious.
Right.
But all in all, when Cleveland faces Pittsburgh, that's another joy. That's a reverse joy because I rather see Cleveland beat Pittsburgh. I feel like that historical rivalry, take away the Ravens, the original, who are the original Browns. With those two teams, I think this Cleveland team, I feel like they have that hunger and determination, and now they're only a game behind, or still 2 games behind, and for the divisional title. I mean, they feel like, mind you, the Pacers facing Cincinnati this week, which is a cakewalk for them. But hopefully, if Cleveland wins, they're facing the Giants. If they keep pace in the following 2 weeks, hopefully, somewhere down the line, Pittsburgh will fall again. They just hopefully everything will fall in their favor. But I just kind of wish that for our expense as a Raven fan, the Ravens could get over those 2 teams and get into the playoffs. But well, likely now since there's a new a 7th team that could get into the playoffs, so hopefully there are some other teams that will fall by the wayside for us to get it.
I hope with the Browns, if the Browns were smart, they are seeing now. I'm going out on a limb with this. They are seeing now they can win without OBJ.
Yeah.
They need to trade him. They need to trade OBJ, get a high draft pick, or get another younger receiver because they're playing better without him.
Mm-hmm.
Get something for him. Trade him. Get something for him. They can get rid of him now. He's expendable.
Yeah, I mean, because basically I think they try to be a high passing team, but really their running game has been their main thing. That has helped them win a lot of games with Chubbs and Hunt. So those 2 guys are like perfect for helping that carry the load for that offense. I mean, yeah, I mean, I just think Odell is like, I mean, if he wants to be a show, to me, it's like him leaving the Giants is a good thing for him, should be for him mentally. But as for, let's say, for talent, player wise, and all that stuff, for his skill set, it's like, do we really need him? I mean, unless you want to offset all the workload away from, go to him and away from Landry, I can understand.
Odell is young. Oh, he's still young, but you can trade him for a pick or picks and get a even younger receiver and get multiple picks for everything else. You can trade him now. I'm not saying Odell's a bum. Odell is great, but you proven now you don't need him. So trade him and get something for him. In the offseason, trade him. You know what I'm saying? Trade him back to the Giants.
Well, here's the question, though, just by mentioning him, because I'm always reminded by him. I'm thinking of Calvin Johnson. I'm thinking of Terrell Owens. I'm thinking of Chad Johnson. No, I'm not mentioning that stupid nickname of his. Uh, I mean, these are receivers that were hot, fire early in their careers, and then whatever issue they had, and they go to another team or they get traded to another. They go on another team for free agency or get traded. I felt like everything just dwindles down. Now, let's say this for Terrell. He kind of like when he went to after he leaves the Niners, go to leaves the Niners, go to Dallas, and go to Philly, then Dallas. Things, he was still up there, but his issues in Dallas, but you can kind of tell things just dwindle a little bit. And then, Chad Johnson, I mean, big mouth, all that stuff, thinking he was the greatest Hall of Famer and all that stuff, slowly declined because people figured him out already. And it's like Odell Beckham Jr. It's the exact same thing. When he was with the Giants, he made these one-handed great catches. He's on commercials. He's doing all this big shit. And then it seems like things dwindled. I don't know, maybe because of the quarterbacking, but Eli Manning was doing the best he can to give him a ball, but his offensive line wasn't doing much for him to protect him so he could throw it to him. So Odell starts getting upset and all that stuff. So everyone blames him. But I felt like him going to Cleveland, I thought would be a new recharge and all that stuff. But first 2 years, the exact same thing, and now he's hurt. I just feel like of all these, I mean, I just feel like with receivers nowadays, I noticed that there's not many loudmouth receivers because you don't hear Antonio Brown because he hasn't done very much in Tampa. So, I mean, because that kind of proves something there. I just feel like, is the big mouth receivers needed in the NFL? I mean, do we really need these guys?
I don't care about their mouth. I just want to know if they can play. He can. I think the NFL needs charisma, and the bigger the mouth, just make sure when you go on the field, you back it up. How big your mouth is has nothing to do with you on the field. Now, some of the wide receivers you mentioned, the one thing that most of them have in common is that they got a severe injury, and when they came back, they were never the same. Ocho Cinco, never the same. Who else did you mention in that bunch?
So Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens, he got that in Philadelphia, but he came out. He was good. I think he just got old. And then after him, what was it?
I mentioned Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson, his issue was that he's a great player on a bad team, and it's just the way.
His issue was that he played for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions will make you retire quick. Look at Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson,
Andre Johnson too from Houston. I mean, he was
Sims. The running back before Barry got there, he retired early.
Billy Sims, yeah.
Yeah, so the people Detroit will make you retire. I think if Barry Sanders would have kept playing, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders would be the all-time leading rusher, not Emmitt Smith.
Right.
That's a fact. That's just a fact. And I think the two best running backs of all time, in my opinion, getting way off topic, but is Jim Brown and Barry Sanders. Period. I'm talking about the top two now. You go to 3 and 4, then Emmett, Walter, but the top three, in my opinion, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. Then you want to go down to 4 and 5. Then you got Emmitt Smith, and you got whoever else.
Well, like I said, I just felt like with quarterback receiver tandems are getting now rarer and rarer because of the fact is like they're the receiver that they're supposed to be relying on not there all the time. And especially those who are trying to be these big name stars. Odell Beckham Jr. is supposed to be this big name star, and he can't stay he can't stay on the field either due to his mouth or through injury. So it's like it's one or the other. So, but like I said, I kind of agree. If Cleveland wants to really get better, they don't need Odell Beckham Jr. They really don't. So, which is kind of interesting
No, they
to
don't.
even say, but because I feel like I felt like him being in Cleveland as is good for him because he's not in a big market. Because the way I see it is like if he does go somewhere else, here's the teams I can see him being picked up: Dallas because they're desperate. Um, Los Angeles, either Chargers or the Rams because it's another big city and he can probably benefit there. And if possible, and if they decide to, likely Tampa because him working with Brady will be a good thing for quote unquote his resume if Brady's there for another year.
Well, if I was Odell, like I think the first choice you said, who was that?
Dallas.
If he goes to Dallas, they signed Dak Prescott. Well, they're not gonna be able to do all of that. It's just some cap. There's still some cap issues there, but they won't. But let's just say, for the sake of saying he went to Dallas with Dak, if everybody can stay healthy, they come on. As much as I hate Dallas, if they had all they had Dak, they had what's the running back
Ezekiel Elliott,
Ezekiel, they got
Lamb, and
Brock, the new guy they just drafted.
mm,
They got who's the other wide receiver, number 19? I forgot him name.
I forgot him too. I don't care.
Man, they would kill it. The offense would have no reason. The only thing that the offense would have no reason. I don't care how shitty the offensive line was. You can be in shotgun all game and just throw it up. You know,
But defense sucks.
you know, ridiculous. But the Cowboys don't have enough money to do all of that, so that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh, Jerry will find a way. Jerry will find a way.
Yeah, he's gonna get rid of somebody. It's either OBJ or Dak.
Mm,
He's not gonna be able to get both. It's not happening.
that's true. Well, he's going to be recovering from ankle injury, so which will be another few years. Oh, not a few years, for at least a few months until he's. I mean, him. I honestly, it's like with his injury because it's kind of similar to mine. I fractured my ankle.
Well, you had a
Um,
compound fracture.
again.
You had a compound fracture.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. When I saw that, I was like, ugh, I know what this is.
oh.
So, yeah. So if he ends up being like Alex Smith, I'll give him kudos. But then again, Alex Smith is out, so thanks to
Right.
mind you, it's a calf injury and it's not as bad, but still, for someone who's recovering from an injury, fractured whatever leg injury, it's like, no, man, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of Alex and the Washington football team again, all right, I'm going to say this, and I don't care who it hurts, whatever Washington fans out there, could you please have some sense of reality somewhere? Because of lately, since now they lead the division with a 6-7 record, one game above the Giants. Everyone is now. I hear again. We live in the Washington area, and it's like, oh, we got a chance. This is like we got this chance. We're going to playoffs. We're going to win the Super Bowl. And I'm just like, yeah, I have that same look, all that stuff. And I sit there and I tell people, and it's like everyone's, it's like one reporter mentions like, oh, the NFC East, it's getting better now because we beaten the Steelers, we beat the Giants beat the Seahawks. Oh, this is gonna be good. And the NFC East is not the NFC East. It's like, hold your phone, look at the records again, and look at their schedule for the next 3 weeks. Every team is below 500. Washington is 6-7, so they're only one game below 500. The best that any of those three teams can be is 9-7, which is not going to happen because one, Washington has to face Seahawks this week. Now Seahawks are not going to do what they did to the Giants. I know that for a fact because what happened? slept on that Giants game. I don't know why and I don't know how. They should have bulldozed them like they were somebody's stepmama, like they did to the Jets this past week. I don't know what they were thinking. And Washington now, since Alex Smith is out, they're going to have, Hopkins going to come back in.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's starting.
He
Because
almost
they
gave
have
the
no
game
one
away.
else. I have no one else.
He almost
So,
gave the game away on Sunday. He almost gave the
yeah.
game away.
So kind of proves is like, okay, the defense got to work overtime.
He's a bum. At least RG3 had a good season his rookie year. At least he had one good season. This dude's just a bum.
So true. So now it's kind of like, okay, so let's fully be honest here, folks. After this weekend, depending on who wins and loses and all that stuff, I guarantee you, no team in the NFC East will have they will win the record no higher than 8-8. At worst, 6-10, which I kind of still see happening. And I feel like, look, and everyone in this area is like thinking that Washington is like all they need is a chance and all this stuff. It's like, look what you got, look what looks what's being put out there. Mind you, their defenses look interesting. Their defense is is been looking pretty good, but honestly, your offense has been horrific for the entire year, except for highlight moments in that Cowboys Thanksgiving game. That was it. Everything else has been kind of like, look, you lucked out on Alex Smith coming back. You lucked out on on certain things here and there, but really, no. Let's keep it 100.
They ain't going nowhere. Their fans know they ain't going nowhere. Their fans know they ain't going to the Super Bowl, and that's that. And the only reason they say that shit is so they can piss off Cowboy fans. They ain't going nowhere. They know they ain't going nowhere. You 6-7. You're 6-7. But we in first place. You're 6-7. You've lost more games than you've won. Your team is not good. It looks good. Now to people here, they look like a good team because shit, the expectations are so low. Anything will look good to the fans in this area right now. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the Ravens were 6-7, we'd be freaked out.
Yeah.
We already freaked out now. They 8-5. We freaked out. That's not good enough for us. But 6-7 is Super Bowl talk for y'all because y'all not used to anything else. So I don't get upset when I hear them talking Super Bowl because you don't respond to foolishness and craziness. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. They feel good about themselves because they this is the best record they've had through 13 games in about 4 or 5 years. Let them enjoy themselves. We know they ain't going no damn where. They might still lose the division and not go anywhere, period. So what the NFL needs to do from starting, they need to have a good talk about this because there's no way an NFC East team should be hosting a playoff game this year. But due to the current format, that's going to happen, whoever wins this division. So starting next year, the NFL needs to only include people. They need to do like the NBA. The top records get in the playoffs. Okay, you won your division. Clear, happy for you. Here's a banner, but you didn't make it to the playoffs because your record wasn't good enough. That's what they need to do. Yeah, we'll give you a banner. You can celebrate being division champs. It's not good enough to come to play with the big boys.
I'll counter that. I think if you won your division, you earned the right to go to the playoffs. I counter it by not hosting it. I really think the team that they're playing in the wild card weekend, they should be going to their place and not host it because I felt like it makes no sense.
So what makes sense to you if a team is in third place in their division with a 10-6 record and the team in the NFC East is 6-10, the team in third place in the other division has to not make the playoffs because a 6-10 team with a sorry ass division.
You won you won the division. I mean that's the whole point. You're division champion. Your division champions get to go to the playoffs automatically. It's just like, look, I mind you, we could complain about not just in pro football. I have the issue with college basketball where teams with, massive winning records get into, can't even get to the NCAA tournament. And because you keep bringing in these top tier teams out of these big schools, keep going in there with, only winning 28 with a 2011 record, while the mid major has a 27-3 record. Doesn't make any sense. I get you. But the thing is like here, you won your division. We earned the right to go to the playoffs. Fine, you earned the right to playoffs, but I feel like you do not earn the right to play at home.
Well,
that's how I see it. If your record, the way I see how it should be is if you are a division champion, if you're the lowest seed division champion, which the NFC East champion will be, you have to have a better record than the wild card team that you're playing against. If you do not, you are going on the road. That's how it should be.
Well, the reason why the division champion goes into the playoffs because that's what the rule is now.
Right.
So you're right. Based on the rule, yes, the division champion has the home game and goes into the playoff. That's what I'm saying. Change the fucking rule.
Yeah.
Once you change the rule, you have to have a record of the top 8 or how many in the conference make the playoffs to make the playoffs. It's like the NBA. I remember a few years ago, Washington won their division. The Wizards won out. We won the division, and we were still the 5th seed.
Yeah.
Based off of our record. So there you go. That makes it even for everybody in the conference. Look, winning your division gets you a home game. That makes it even fair. Winning your division gets you a home game. Your record gets you a home game. And your record gets you a home game. Let's say somebody wins, no, man, it should be the best records in the conference win. Because you meet somebody with a 6-10 record, who wants to watch that game? That's a bad.
It's like watching those early, those pre New Year's game bowls. Because it's like no one wants to see 6 and 7 team playing against each other.
Nobody wants to see that shit. That's a bad week. Now every Redskin fan is saying, "Well, we won the division. We won the division." Okay, cool. One day, when another division has a 6-10 division champ, and the Redskins, lo and behold, go 11-5 and miss the playoffs, let's see if you have that same thought process at that time.
Keep that same energy.
Yeah, keep that same energy when that happens, but I doubt it because the Redskins not gonna go 11-5 again in my lifetime. But go
ahead. Well, we'll see how. Speaking of basketball officially will be starting in Christmas time, pretty much around soon. So we got the preseasons going on. And I saw, Russell Westbrook going to the Wizards, which is the biggest surprise for me because the Wizards were able to get Russell Westbrook. So, does this, we'll start with them, then we'll go about the league. How do you see the Wizards are now with Westbrook on the team, but Wall been trading out to Houston? Who got the better end of the trade between those two?
Oh, the Wizards, without a doubt. The Wizards. Nobody knows how John Wall is going to be this year. He's 31 now. Who knows if he's going to return to form if he is 100% healthy. And the Wizards got the best of this deal because you get an angry Westbrook who's angry almost all the time anyway, but now really angry. You surround him with a bunch of young players who still made the bubble and had no superstar. I mean, Bradley Beal, Bradley Beal, but we didn't have John Wall wasn't there. We didn't have anybody remotely close as talented as Russell Westbrook. Now we got Russell Westbrook and we were winning already. My only thing with the Wizards is defense. But Russ is going to bring that. So his influence on these younger players is, this was far and away the Wizards got the best of this deal. So there's no question.
Well, with that in mind, because Westbrook didn't play the first preseason game, but likely he'll probably play the next two maybe.
He's not playing no
Um,
pre.
yeah, well,
I
they're
don't
just
blame him.
only I wouldn't play preseason anyway. But now let's with Houston going into Houston, now they have John Wall, but James Harden it wants to leave. So it's kind of like, and it kind of goes back to like Odell Beckham Jr. It's kind of like Harden's still good, mind you. He's a top notch player, but it's like, okay, what is it about Harden that no one wants to play with? Either A, no one wants to play with him, or B, why does Harden want to keep leaving where he feels like he could be the man in that particular team that he's in?
Say that again.
What do you think of Harden's mentality rate where he's a good player, somehow it's like people don't want to either A, people don't want to play with him, or B, he wants to leave out of the team that he where he could be the man in. Because when he was in Oklahoma, he was the man there until Westbrook showed up. And
Harden's
he
a
wanted
diva.
out.
He's a diva. I think he's like, what was that dude back in the day? You cut all his hair off, he lost all his power. What was his name? I forgot his name. But
Uh,
anyway, Harden's a diva. He can't defend. Um, he's overrated. So these are the things about James Harden that I don't know why everybody's making a big freaking deal. He hasn't won a championship. Um, and trade him, get rid of him. And you know what? If I was the Houston general manager, he's gonna sit. You ain't going nowhere. Period. Just the way you carry shit. You're not going nowhere, and we're gonna get the best deal for us. Man, if I was him, I would trade his ass to Sacramento or no, Sacramento's will come up. I would trade him to freaking Detroit or somewhere where I know that he ain't winning no title no time soon. Just out of him being an asshole for the past couple of weeks, month or so. And longer than that, because the article came out where he was like coming to meetings whenever he felt like it, doing this and doing that. Okay, I understand you're a superstar, but and you get certain privileges. I get that. But some superstars are leaders.
mm.
Harden's not a leader. That's why he ain't won shit. He could lead ants to a picnic. And the only reason and the nigga is he's good. Yeah, offensively, he's good. I'll give him that. He can't play defense. He doesn't show up when it's time when the game is on the line. It's time, big time. He don't show up. Um,
Mm.
he's an awesome fucking regular season player. Don't get me wrong. He's MVP for the regular season. After that, I can name 5 players I'd rather have than James Harden. Overrated. Get rid of him. Get the best deal for your team. Forget where he wants to go. F that. He hasn't played. He hasn't earned the right to say where he wants to go because he ain't got a chip yet. So he needs to shut up.
I'm in agreement. I feel Harden is like, boy, it's like what more do you want? Yeah, I mean, you've been on teams where you could have been the man, or maybe you've been on teams where you could, when someone adds another superstar for you, help benefit you, and you still act like an ass. And it is like, wherever you go, you feel like you wanted to be the person. Now, I said this through someone's Twitter. I replied, if he does get traded out, I felt like, hey, take him to the Bucks because I want to see the Bucks win the title. That was my thing. But if he's going to be like the crying, whining diva, like you're stating, yeah, if there was still a team in Vancouver, I would send them out there because it's like
Send his
because
ass
you're
to
just
Memphis.
complaining over complaining.
Send his ass to one of these teams who's going down. You know what I'm saying? And let's see how much can he bring. Can he bring them back up? I doubt it. He don't have that. There's
Yeah.
only a select few players in the NBA who get the right to choose if they ever want to be traded. Who get the right to choose where they want to trade to. Trade to. That's LeBron. That's KD. That's Steph Curry. That's there's a couple of others. I might be. That's Giannis, whatever. However you pronounce the name. And another player I'm forgetting. There's only about 4 or 5 players in the NBA that get the right to choose where they go. Harden ain't one of them. Yeah, people can say, well, Giannis never showed he can win a title. Okay, Giannis ain't had no support.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis, now he's getting the support. He's proved he can do this shit. And he's not a diva. Harden ain't done shit. So no, we're gonna send you to the Alaska Eskimos. And you're gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? Trade him where you get the best thing for the Houston Rockets. F him and his feelings. I would give him a big F you on the way out just for the fact of him acting like a diva and coming when he wants. I would give him the biggest F you on his way out. Hell yeah. I'm going to get some first rounders back, but I'm going to trade you to whoever the hell I feel like.
And the sad part is in addition to him banning trades, and it's teams that are, like you said, on the come up. He wanted to go to Miami. He wants to talk to Philly. He wants to talk to, what was the other team that was thinking of going to? It was another up and coming team. And I was thinking, it's like this, as you said, it's like,
Brooklyn.
okay,
He wants
if
to go
he
to
goes
Brooklyn.
there, things don't go his way.
He wants to go to Brooklyn. That's where he wants to go.
Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is like, yeah, KD wants to deal with his
If
ass
he
again.
wants to go to New York, send his ass to the Knicks. There you go.
Yes, yeah, that's what we're saying. Take him to the Knicks.
Send him
So
to the Knicks.
it's kind of like, okay, if things don't work out for him, he's going to act like an ass again. It's kind of like, it's like, I mean, what more do you want? That's why I felt like I've never been a fan of the modern day NBA because like there's just way too many prima donnas in there. More so than it were during the '90s. Let's put it that way. I felt like these guys are prima donna divas. There's prima donna and they're prima donna divas. The divas is another level. It's like almost being like a Real Housewife or whatever. and and I just felt like that's what some of these guys are to me. I just don't like it.
He can go fuck himself. If he wants to go to New York, send him to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? They got some nice young talent. Maybe they can grow around him. Make that nigga be a leader. Because I know Tom Thibodeau ain't having that shit. So send him to New York. Send him. He want to go to New York? No, you're going to New York, not Brooklyn, New York. No, don't give him what he want because he never really gave you what he wanted. He ain't give you no defense. He ain't bring you no chip. So no.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. So anyway, to wrap things up, we're in the midst again. Everything is coming down. Uh, but mind you, seasons are coming up. The NBA season's coming, so football's coming up. So I know it's been a minute since we've done a show. So, but we like to absorb all the sports that are coming in, and then we splurt it out for you so that way you all can our analysis of what we've seen so far. So far, the NFL has been good, even though Baltimore can keep its COVID problems in check and everything. So yeah, surprisingly enough, it's like the one in baseball it was the Cardinals and the Marlins had the issues, and the Phillies had their issues with COVID. But then he finally settled down. Ravens, it's kind of like they can't get it together. I don't know what the fuck. So, but coming this season with basketball, college basketball, to be honest with you, it has been up and down. If you're not aware, if you don't follow a particular team, if you do follow a particular team, you probably notice that your school's been doing okay. But what I've noticed is a lot of schools had to cancel games, and this is kind of the certain players figures like we've done everything, and next thing you know, someone gets COVID, so we have to stop everything. So mind you, this is just the first month of college basketball. Um, they somehow are able to, if they're able to get through 4 months and get to their March Madness, is it possible with all these hiccups?
Is it possible for what?
For college basketball to have a full season?
No. None.
Because
I mean, they should start it later. It's an indoor sport, so they don't have the luxury of the NFL, where for the most part, it's outdoors, which kind of helps a little bit with circulation and ventilation and all that type of shit. No, they should start the season. They should start it in January or start it in February and let it go, or actually start the shit in March, a shortened season where you play mostly conference games, a couple other games, maybe a 18, 20 game season, and
Hmm.
then have May Madness.
That was the talk for a while, but I think they're right now because what I've
I
witnessed
hate
because
college sports. That's why I hate college sports.
true. What I've noticed is like the universities themselves have done very well on trying to make sure everything is good. Make sure the facilities are clean enough for not only the players but also for those who are working the game themselves. So they're doing their best on handling this. It's just the fact that when you hear this individual, the school has to stop basketball operations, and you kind of wonder what the hell happened. It's like I thought you guys got this covered, but it's like no. So I mean, I'm hoping you know there's I'm myself because I work these games. I hope to they do have full season. I hope it bleeds into go into March, and now that the vaccine is out there, you can learn more about that on
And
the
and
perverted truth.
yeah,
About
yeah,
the
you gonna hear about that. And
yeah.
and that's where that's the part I do feel bad about, is that the people who work college basketball, like yourself and other people, how, you know what I'm saying, is I would like the season to go straight through, then to have it go here, stop here, pick up here, stop here, stop here. Okay, you know what? We made a mistake. Stop. Period.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's not cool. So college basketball doesn't have a there's no leadership. There's just no leadership. It's like that's why I don't like college sports. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
so
an college again college football, basketball. Since they're two major things, is the most criticized because not only because they're the two major sports, um, but it felt like you said, there's no proper leadership. You have the NCAA, but they don't do anything, and because they rely on the schools themselves to handle the situation. And it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. What are you there for in the first place then? You just be there just to be a sponsor because, we already got plenty of sponsors for that. I just don't understand the equivalent of the NCAA to really be, like you said, a true leader in collegiate sports. Because, mind you, you could have balanced this all out or try to handle this properly of how
yeah.
of handling the situation of the COVID. So you could have literally said, "No, we're not doing these sports," or "No," but no, you relied on the conferences to handle that situation, and then they kind of like went back and forth with their situation. It's like, should we? Shouldn't we? Should we? Shouldn't we? And again, it all in the end, it relates about money. So
Well,
that's why you should go to our Patreon and just get
yeah,
$1 to see all
yeah,
these crazy content.
yeah, $2. You get the videos, but
$2. Oh,
$1
$2.
audio only. We're gonna take one more show before the end of the year. Let's do it either December 30th or December 31st if you're free. Let's take one more show. That show will be on Patreon.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
this one, of course, I know you put this on YouTube and everything, so that's cool. But let's do
Yeah.
the next one on Patreon, and then we can put highlights on YouTube,
Mhm.
but yeah, man. So um let me just say this in conclusion, in my conclusion. Um yeah. Uh College sports sucks. Pay the athletes, or um have some leadership, man. There needs to be one person overseeing all of college sports.
Mm.
One person. Like when I say that, one person overseeing all of basketball, one person overseeing all of football. You know what I'm saying? The conferences can still do their thing, but you got one person overseeing everything. Like you got SmackDown and Raw, but you got Vince McMahon overseeing both of them. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be something like that, because right now there's no leadership. Everybody's going this direction. Everybody, Pac-10 started in, last week, October. It's just ridiculous. So do that. I don't like it anyway. Probably never will like college sports, but do that, and maybe you can get some fans to like it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, we hope that yeah, we hope for all that. But in the end, we hope
Oh,
that you like our show. Oh yes,
one more thing I want
last.
to say. My Patreon podcast. This is actually the very first podcast I've done where I am in full creative control. I haven't had a podcast where I'm like the man. So you're going to see my full sickness displayed. The perverted truth. I'm the first episode. I'm going to talk about why I'm 43 and I don't have any gray hair. I'm trying to,
I get it.
my life is stressful as a motherfucker. So there should be gray everywhere, but I don't.
Mm,
I'm also gonna have a special female guest on there. And here's what we do on Perverted Truth. Throughout the show, we take shots. We're gonna have matching bottles, and we have to take shots. When the shot is over, we have to take shots. Period. And I'm gonna tell you everything. Tune in January 1st. You'll see the first episode. That's it.
all right, all right. Further Truth, January 1st on Patreon. No Filter Sports will be on Patreon from here out on January. Oh, not January, December 30th. So, but anyway, there's more. We're more other issues with sports when they come around. So because playoffs will be coming, basketball will be back, hockey maybe starting later. So we'll look into that more. But anyway, we thank you for tuning in. If you want to follow us on our Instagram, it's no underscore filter underscore sports underscore 2.5. Yeah, it's long, but hey. So and Trump, where people can find you.
You can find me. You can find me at home for the next couple of weeks. You can find me at on you can follow at Rip Radio on Instagram and follow at Rip Monday Night. That's NITE. Ripped Monday NITE. We got some good things coming, so y'all check that out.
All right, folks. That's it for No Filter Sports. I am Brian Lyles. I keep getting these crazy calls. It could be about sports news, but we'll tell you next time. See you then.